You are now plugged into the Social Plug Podcast.
What's going on, everybody? You are plugged into the Social Podcast. I'm Johnny Martinez, your host. Before we get started, I'm going to give you a definition of resiliency. Resiliency is the ability to adapt and recover from stress, adversity, or trauma. It involves being able to bounce back from difficult situations and maintain one's well-being. Well, with that said, I have a great guest today. His name's Dylan Wild. He has overcome a lot of things in his life. We're going to talk about his story. We're going to talk about resiliency. We're going to talk about passion, drive, success, failure, and so on and so forth. So all those things are involved with resiliency. Okay, resiliency is a great word. There's a lot of people going through trials and tribulations in life. I have a lot of friends that are going through divorce, going through mental stress, people thinking about suicide, thinking about ending their relationship, you name it. But resiliency is a strength to overcome. So I want to introduce Dylan Wild. What's going on, Dylan? How are you today?
Doing good. Just got some hardware taken out of my arms. Coming back from a big accident we had, so
So we're going to talk
going
about
good.
that.
Yes, sir.
So hopefully you're recovering well, not only mentally, but physically as well. So welcome to the Social Plug Podcast, my friend.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you for having me on.
Oh, absolutely. It's my pleasure. So this podcast, as we talked before, is about people with remarkable stories. We're going to take a deep dive into yours to educate and inform people not only about you, but how people maybe in your position, it's not over. They're going to get stronger. They're going to get better with the right mindset. So tell us about your story, my friend.
So I think to start, we'll go back to where I grew up at. Grew up in a broken family. My parents separated multiple times. So watching that definitely has an impact being so young.
I could just imagine, man, where they separated and then came back together just constantly. It fucks with your brain.
Yeah, especially being a kid. I mean, it's hard to grasp the idea, like when your parents separate the first time and then they're together and they're not.
It's confusing.
Yeah, so went through that a few times. So that
A lot of there's a toxic relationship going on.
yeah, very toxic.
How did that make you feel?
Being so young, it's definitely new. Even at that age, it wasn't something I wanted. And of course, as you mature and grow up, that's cemented in your brain. I mean, even the things you don't want to remember, they're there. Kind of build me to where I am now, but definitely toxic relationship. And then finally, once they did divorce, I grew up mostly single mom. Never dated, just my brother and I. Orange County, California.
So you had to grow up quick
Very quick.
because you didn't have the father figure in your home.
Yeah,
Is that accurate?
that's 100% accurate. And
So you and your brother, your older brother, had to fend for yourselves and had to take care of mom and take care of the house. You were the protectors of the household.
right, and she worked Monday through Saturdays usually, so not a lot of time together. Just, I mean, she had to work to make it.
Yeah,
make
you had to
ends meet.
survive.
Right. So I mean, growing up, like I said, in Orange County, it's kind of upper middle class, and we weren't upper middle class.
Right.
Like a lot of my peers growing up. Especially you notice it more, especially in high school.
So people look down on you because
Yeah.
you weren't upper middle class. You weren't part of that social society.
Right.
You weren't the in thing.
No, yeah, 100%. There was things I couldn't do when everyone goes for summer and they go to Hawaii or Mexico vacations.
Mm-hmm.
My mom didn't really. I don't want to say didn't really take us in. She didn't. She couldn't afford to. Not
Your
that she didn't
vacation
want
might
to.
have been to the beach or
Right.
something like that just to get away.
Yeah, go to family member's house, something like that. That definitely had a big impact growing up.
Yeah. So your little mind when you were young, you had started off with challenges and struggles, and you probably knew there was because a lot of people don't know growing up that they're poor. They don't know that there's issues because That's just life.
Right.
That's how they grow up. They don't know any better. But you had, I'm sure, some kind of conversations with your brother and mom and said, man, this isn't right. We're not living right. We need to do something else. So something triggered you in your mind. That little lion came out and started to roar and said, I want to do something. Right.
Yeah, from a
So when
very
you got
young
to high
age.
school, how was high school?
Um, I think like most people, it's tricky to maneuver, but a lot different, um, given the city I lived in. Um,
That's
not,
Los Angeles.
smaller city in Orange County, in
Okay.
Brea.
Okay.
Um, so like upper middle class.
Okay.
So trying to navigate fitting in, not because I felt like I needed to, but just trying to keep up with people. So that took me actually to get a job in high school, and I didn't get to play the sports I wanted to, so that I could have money to do the things I wanted to that my
Right.
mom couldn't
Right.
afford.
So you had things going on in the home front, things going on in the social aspect, and you had a lot of things, and you knew you wanted to be an athlete, wanted to play sports.
Yeah, I wanted to, but it was hard to do that and have a job at the same time. So actually, that's what took me into the gym. Um, the gym was, of course, something I could do on my own time and make time for.
Your
Whether that
sanctuary, so to
right,
speak.
yeah. So whether that's late at night or before class in the mornings, make it work.
Yeah.
And that was my sport, if you will.
Yeah. So you like the money. You said you were working, things like that. What kind of jobs did you have as a youngster?
I only had one job. I worked for the city,
Okay.
and I worked for a after school program and summer day camp from kinder all the way to 10th grade.
So
So
you were already a servant. You were helping the community, doing things like that, and you're
yeah,
building relationships along the way.
yeah, and being able to as much as I could at me being young, trying to mature and find my way, but the impact you have on those kids, where I knew what I went through, and some
Mhm.
of those kids could be going through that too. So being able to be that role model, be somebody um, to make a difference, and
Yeah.
you might not even realize it.
Yeah. So you built relationships with some of these kids that were poor. They didn't have all the meals that they should have. Sometimes they were being bullied, picked on, whatever as well. I mean, did you see any of that growing up?
Oh yeah, for sure. Broken families, stuff like that, where um, they're trying to figure it out too. And I could remember being in their shoes of knowing it wasn't normal, but too young to make it change or
Right.
to realize exactly what was happening, other than it was wrong.
So you graduated high school, and then what was the next step after that?
I knew I wanted to get out of my hometown.
Okay.
It's I'm from Brea, so they call it the Brea bubble. Everybody gets kind of stuck there.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of parents that went to the art. My friends' parents that went to that high school, and they are just in that.
It's just a circle,
Yeah,
right? Same thing.
yeah,
If they're in poverty, they stay in poverty,
right.
right?
Yeah,
Because they don't have an outlet
yeah,
sometimes. Sometimes it takes the ones that like, man, I need to get out of this. How can I get out of here? Because they know they can get out, but they just don't know how.
right. Yeah,
And that's
100%.
that's anywhere you go. And it's a challenge in itself because people don't have those guides, those mentors, those people to help you out. So I'm a firm believer people need to seek out. They need to ask questions. Too many people are hesitant and timid to ask questions or seek advice, seek help. But you didn't do that.
Yeah, yeah. So I knew I wanted to get out.
Hmm.
Um, and my dad was getting remarried here in New Braunfels, so I came to Texas State. That's where I went to school for college. Did-
Texas State, that's a fun school. No, look, I see that smile on your face. You got the big teeth going on. You loved it, didn't you?
yeah, a little bit. I took the 5-year program,
Okay.
yeah, instead of 4.
Hey, I took the 18-year program. I just got my degree way after I started college. So I went to Texas State back in the day when it was Texas State.
So a
Had
little
a
while ago.
a long time ago. See the gray in my beard here. So I had a great time in college. I got that big smile all the time, the way you have. But I thought it was an extension of high school. So I kind of failed out, joined the military. Um, but yeah, so you went the 5-year plan, and then what was going on? And so you were obviously out of Brea,
Right.
and you had all these different things in your mind. You knew what to do, what not to do, but the toxic relationships going on. You knew that you needed to help people. You like to work out, all these different things. So what happened in college and beyond?
So the gym never changed. The gym was always there, and got even more serious, if you will, in
Intense.
college. Yeah. Um, turned into not just a sport, if you will, that I like to do, but
Mm-hmm.
it was an outlet, place to think, place to get away. So in college here, I was bartending and working for my dad's company. It didn't take me too long to figure out that family business wasn't going to be a thing for me. So not that we had a bad falling out, it's just I wanted to do other things.
Yeah, you had you're a leader. You're a lion. You wanted to do things on your own. You had probably an entrepreneurial mindset.
Right? Yeah, either that it was going to be that or helping people. So I actually went to the police academy, um, graduated from there, and
Hell
again
yeah.
found myself that that wasn't going to be it either.
So how was the police academy for you? Was it easy, tough? Was it challenging?
Just for me personally, it was definitely something I enjoyed. It was challenging,
You are now
um,
plugged into the
but
Social
again,
Plug
just
podcast.
for myself, it wasn't something that once I got into that position that I could do um, long term.
Okay.
Um, you do, of course, have a lot of people you help,
Mm-hmm.
but you're always helping people oftentimes on their bad days.
Right.
That's hard to compartmentalize in your mind day in and day out. So that led me after the academy, had graduated college. I took a month by
What
myself,
was your major?
business management.
Business management. Hell yeah.
Yeah. Um, so that took me to Florida. Actually, I
Okay.
was there for 4 weeks. Packed my truck up. Just trying to figure out where I wanted to do.
So you just said, man, Florida's it. Did you have any family out there? Did you have any friends? You just said Florida. I'm gonna pick a place on the map here.
Yeah.
Where in Florida did you go to?
I was between Tampa Bay and Miami.
Okay. Was it because of football teams or the beach,
The beach,
the
probably.
weather?
Yeah, the beach and the weather. I mean, I
Or
just wanted to. I knew I got out in California
you just wanted to walk around the beach with your shirt off, didn't
on the weekends.
you? Because you're still a physical specimen. I mean, you worked out a lot. I seen a lot of photos of you. I mean, you had the pecs going. You looked like some kind of wrestler or something. I mean, hell, you did I mean, you were always working out.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. So
and you were confident, right?
yeah,
Confident in your
right,
ability.
right. Yeah.
So anyway, Florida it was. And then what happened?
I decided to come back to Texas to figure out what I wanted to do, and I knew that part of me still wanted to, in some form or fashion,
Mhm.
help people, inspire people, do something like that.
Right.
Came back, picked up a one night shift at the bar I was working at
Okay.
in San Marcos, and on the way home, that's when I had my accident. Actually,
Tell us about that, man.
so I was driving home. It was about 11:30 that night,
Okay.
um, and it was construction.
There's
And
there's always construction on I-35.
yeah, yeah.
That's
So that
never
was
going
on
to end.
35.
There's
Yeah,
been construction since I was an infant and before.
yeah. So during construction,
Hmm.
um, I can't really tell the story exactly of how the accident happened because I don't remember too
Hmm.
much. Remember driving and everyone's trying to merge.
Okay.
There was a couple 18-wheelers
Yep.
and eventually woke up in the hospital.
So you were driving now and you saw two 18-wheelers. Were they on either side of you or right in front of you?
One was in front, and one was to the side.
It's so dangerous with these 18-wheelers. That's one of my biggest fears is getting into an accident with an 18-wheeler. They're large and they can't see you sometimes.
Right.
And especially at night, man. So you're driving home, see two 18-wheelers and you wake up in the hospital. What the fuck, man?
I wasn't sure. Um, I know I was intubated for 4 days, multiple
Man.
surgeries.
So you had breathing tubes, you had trachs, you had all kinds of stuff going on.
Yeah,
Stuff in tubes going in your mouth and stuff on your body.
a couple
Man.
IVs, breathing tube. I don't even know what the tube in my nose was for. Feeding tube. Uh, I was bandaged on my right foot because I broke my right foot. Left leg amputation. Double compound fracture. Left hip, and then I had 50 staples in my
So
kidney.
when you came to, were you able to speak at all?
Um,
Because you had all this stuff going on in your, breathing tubes and all kinds of other stuff.
so my parents said when I first woke up, and my dad actually runs in his family, hearing impaired.
Okay.
So I know how to sign to him.
Okay.
And my parents said when I woke up, um, first thing I did was sign loss, and then I just pointed at my leg.
Man. So you look down and you don't have a freaking leg.
Right.
After being all confident and in the gym all the time, what the hell was going through your mind, man? No leg.
It wasn't too much of a matter of like if I'll get back, it's a matter of when and how. Um, the when part comes into play with the doctors always telling you timelines, right?
Right.
So they tell you you're not going to walk for 6 months, or uh, you're not going to be able to go to the gym 6 months to a year, whatever timelines they were telling me.
Right.
I was like, there's no way, I can't wait that long. Like
Right.
I can't.
I got to go to the gym.
Right. Yeah.
I got to get back to work. I got to carry on with my life.
That's the biggest thing.
Right.
Is
That was your
life,
mindset.
life just can't be on pause while you're healing. Like I could do both. I'm not going to pause like life to work on healing.
So, Dylan, this was a near death experience, man. You might have been a millimeter away from being in a coffin right now. Would you agree with that? Who
Yeah,
knows? I mean, because you
100%.
really don't know. You said, I really don't know what happened. 18 wheelers, two of them.
Right.
You're in a car. What kind of car did you have?
I was in a Toyota Tundra.
So, was there any photos of the aftermath, or did you have any data that said car was totaled? Did they say you just flipped off into the median?
No,
Your
no.
car was crushed? What I mean,
Yeah, from there's only I think I have two pictures. My
Yeah.
brother, I asked him to take.
So Johnny, just real quick, do you have your phone on you, Dylan?
Yeah, I do.
Show Johnny, because I'm actually going to show the viewer right now the photo. So if you could show him the photo of
The
truck first.
Yeah.
I'm actually showing the viewers right now
Okay.
that this is the truck footage, man, of what was
so let's check
going
that
on.
out. So
Yeah.
that is crazy.
So that's the
So
truck right there, Johnny. I'm showing the viewer right now as well.
that is incredible. It's just a
Jeez.
piece of wreckage.
And what kind of car was that again? I'm sorry.
Toyota Tundra.
It's a Toyota Tundra. It looks like a big piece of scrap metal.
If you want to go to the next photo,
Yeah, you can't tell what I was driving. And then
there's that
let's see. I'll show you the picture of me in the hospital, actually.
All right, so I'm gonna describe this picture. You got no left leg.
they're seeing it.
Your right leg is broken. You got, like you said, IVs galore, and you got breathing tubes, and you got head bandages. Your eyes are swollen. Your body is swollen. It looks like your stomach is swollen as well. You had so many injuries. The average Joe would just say, screw it. I'm out. My life is
Yep.
done here.
Yep.
I've done all I can.
Yeah, and I think the doctors also had said the doctors had even said that if the build wasn't where I was, that body probably could have failed or wouldn't survive.
So being an athlete really helped you in your not only the recovery process but in the injury process, right?
Right.
Because you're flexible and agile, and who knows? A lot of people say when you get in an accident and you tense up, that's when you die or get injured,
Yeah.
right? But you might have just gone with the flow. Obviously, it was a great impact. Holy shit, Dylan! Uh, you I'm not going to say you shouldn't have survived that because you did, but the average person would look at that and say, "This guy's dead." The whole thing, it's over, and they pick up the wreckage and they move on.
Right.
But that didn't slow you down, obviously at first. But you had a great support system around you that loved you and was there interacting, engaging with the medical staff, the doctors on your behalf. So there was a lot of behind the scenes stuff going on. There's a lot of details in this story. Near death experience. Now you're in the hospital, missing a limb, broken limbs. You can't even move your left arm, right? But you're able to sign to your father about you have a lost leg. So what the hell is going through your mind when you said I lost my leg? You kind of mentioned it. It was just there's timelines, but you knew you had to get back in business. Tell us about that.
I think originally should be noted that might be the first time I like cried about it.
Okay.
Not too many times after that. but just that initial realization,
It was shock, right?
big time.
And it humbled you big time because nobody or there's a lot of people that think this will never happen to me. No, I'm good to go.
Right?
I'm just going to drive down I-35 and I'll be okay.
Yeah, I didn't think it'd be me.
Right.
So dealing with the doctors to put you in a setback, having that support system, as you were talking about, um, definitely helps you to me to be, as you said, like resilient.
Mm-hmm.
I had friends that spent the night in the waiting room, on the floor, on chairs. Um, Family members were always there, in and out of the room. Uh, I think without them, I wouldn't say it's impossible, but it would have been a lot harder.
A hell of a lot tougher.
Yeah.
Because they're giving you emotional food, intellectual food. Hey, it's going to be okay. You're going to get better. But at the same time, Dylan, you're inspiring them. You're kind of inspiring each other.
Yeah.
Because you're making a recovery, and let's talk about that a little bit. So the doctors gave you a timeline. So this happened on what date? Let me start off there. And this happened on what date? With
This
the
is
accident?
August 7th of just last year, so 22.
So August 7th. So you were in the hospital the night of August 7th
Yep.
and August 8th. And at some point, the doctor came to you and said, "How long is it going to take you to walk? How long?"
So I was in the hospital total of 10 days.
Okay.
I think the 11th day I was discharged.
Okay.
And even to the very last day, they wanted to revise some hardware that they put in my hip.
Okay.
And I was like, when are you going to do surgery? And they said, probably 4 or 5 days. We'll keep you. No, you're not. For what? I'm not hooked up to IVs or anything. I was like, I'm leaving. Like,
I'm just going to get up.
I couldn't just get up. I had to hop in a wheelchair. But I was like, I'm not staying here for what? I wasn't hooked up to IVs. Didn't turn the TV on once in the hospital. I just sit and watch the clock. I was like, I'm not chilling here. Just
Right.
like I want to go home. So even from then, that short timeline just to do a hip revision, we pushed that out 10 days. Went back for that. They said walking probably 6 months to a year.
Okay. 6 months to a year.
Right.
We're August 7th, right?
Yes.
So 6 months would be around February.
Yeah.
Right. And this just happened.
Right.
2022.
Yeah.
Right. So where are we at now? We're about 8 months removed.
Yeah.
All right. So, my man, you made a miraculous recovery. So August 7th, you started taking your first steps when?
October 21st.
Crazy.
Yeah. Just I wasn't gonna let anybody tell me what I could and couldn't do. I mean, as long as it's like medically safe. The biggest thing was waiting for the incision, the staples and stuff to get removed. As soon as I was done with that, I was like, I'm not. What are you waiting for?
Right.
Just
Right.
because that's your
let's
like
go.
normal timeline, like no,
Right.
like the life clock's ticking.
Right.
So like we're
So that's
wasting
the
time.
average timeline. This is my timeline.
Right.
You have an internal timeline. Like, no, I'm ready to walk again.
Right.
I'm ready to get back in the gym again. So how many surgeries have you had?
Total of I think it's 12
Okay. And that's
with this
anywhere from
this
your
last hardware removal.
Okay, so tell us about what's going on with your left arm right now.
So it was a double compound fracture. I actually almost lost the arm too. They were trying to figure out if they were able to save it. Thankfully, they were. They put a plate down in the ulna and then two in the humerus. So I just got the plate and the ulna removed to get more range of motion back.
Okay.
Everything's for the most part healing as it should be. The top part, a little bit of a non-union, but it's healing.
What does that mean?
The bones aren't growing back in the center. They're just growing on the outside.
Okay.
Not terrible news, but the doc told me I gotta chill a little bit using it because I guess I broke one of the screws.
Oh,
He saw it in the X-ray.
yeah, yeah. So incredible detail, incredible story. So I'm just trying to wrap my head around this. How fast? So we're 8 months removed, and you're here sitting in my chair, right? And you got a prosthetic leg.
Yep.
Tell us about that. How is that been a big hurdle for you?
Honestly, not too bad. Of course, initially walking on not your own leg, like you can't, like I can't feel the floor, so you relearn like the nerves on the bottom is kind of what I feel like the floor when I step down. Um, Initially, it was tricky, but same thing. They wanted me to start using a walker at home. They gave me crutches.
Okay.
They're like, start with the walker or just stand for an hour a day or something. Um, I don't think I used the walker more than about 4 days. Just got on the
Crazy.
crutches.
Crazy. So the average person with these injuries might not. I mean, it's all mind over matter. I'm a firm believer. The mind is a miracle, and the brain is a miracle because the brain didn't get injured,
Right.
did it? Did
No,
your brain get
no,
injured at
no.
all? So your whole body got injured except for your brain. Is that about accurate, or is
Right.
that so? Your brain has driven you through this, and you've surpassed expectations. Have the doctors said, "Holy shit, what's going on? You're a miracle"?
Most of the doctors, or actually probably all of them, they're like, how'd you get out of the hospital so fast? Or like, healing fast, back in the gym. Even the doctor today is like, well, what are you benching? And I told him I was back up to 225. He's like, no, we need to cut that in half so your bone can heal. I'm like, well, it doesn't hurt. So,
Right.
but
But you're
definitely,
going to follow doctor's orders, right? Yeah. Yes.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yes. Yes. You're going to follow doctor's orders.
yeah.
But man, you are an absolute beast. Your mindset is very, very strong. I commend you on your leadership ability, on your resiliency journey. It takes a special person to say, "Screw that, doctor. I'm going to do this. I'm going to beat these expectations." Kind of like I always try to beat the GPS time on
On
ways.
maps, yeah,
You're beating the odds, and you're beating these timelines that the doctors are giving you. So you might even change the game a little bit for medicine or healing process or whatever. It might be the Dylan rule or something like that. Who knows?
right.
You know? Yeah, man, incredible story from starting off in poverty, kind of a broken home, toxic situation. You're growing all up into high school. You got these different societal things. People didn't respect you. They looked down on you. Those are things that I love proving people wrong. So
Oh,
I'm gonna and,
100%.
and I'm gonna say that you love proving people wrong as well.
Yep.
Because you proved the odds wrong, you proved the doctors wrong, you proved a lot of the people that said, "Man, I don't think he's gonna make it. He's not gonna be the same." But how have you been better? How have you been better since this injury?
I think mentally makes you stronger. Um, I remember going to PT one day, just started walking. So it was like probably early November. And there's a guy in a wheelchair who has a prosthetic. He rolls over to me and he's like, hey, how long have you had your leg? I'm like, about 3 weeks. I want to say 2 or 3 weeks. And I was walking with crutches, walking around. And he's sitting in the wheelchair, but he has a prosthetic. And he's like, dude, I had my accident in January. He's like, how do you do it?
Mm,
And honestly, I was at a loss of words. I didn't know what to say.
right.
Like, what am I going to say? Like, oh, it's my mentality, like,
You're like, I'm
whatever.
just being me.
So I think, yeah, the biggest thing is that helps me stay getting better, just keeping, for sure, your mental state,
Hmm.
um, to keep progressing, not let people tell you what you can or can't do.
Right.
100% is
Right.
gonna even trump your physical disabilities or anything else. Like if you have the will to do it, you'll do it. Get there.
Spot on. So we talked about proving people wrong. It's not always proving people wrong with words. You can say all day, "I'm going to prove you wrong. I'm going to do this." No, no. It's not about what you say, it's what you do. Your impact, and you've made an impact uh definitely in the lives of others. And you're going to continue making an impact in the lives of others. Probably people from the PT, from that guy you talked about with the wheelchair.
Right.
The doctors are going to look at you different. The nurses, the staff. How huge was your support staff, not only the medical people, but your family and your friends around you?
Definitely wouldn't been a whole lot different without um friends and family. Uh
And all those
it-
friends are family now.
right. And a lot of them actually friends and family closer to than I was before the accident. Um
Because you
and
know who's in your corner.
right.
Because
And
you were
yeah,
down and out, man.
yeah. So for them to be there and support, through is definitely changed the game for like even your mental stability to come back. So you know it's not just you, but you have people with you to make it through.
Yeah. Man, that's heroic. These are the stories that people love to hear, the feel good stories. People love hearing the negative and say, I'm gonna count him out. He's out. He's done. No, not you. So what inspires you, man? What do you have any mentors, any books you read, any other podcasts? I mean, what makes you tick and function?
I think one of the biggest internal things is going to be life experiences that I've dealt with. We talked about a little bit like childhood, especially now um, having a prosthetic.
Mm-hmm.
For me personally, I when people are like, "Oh, he has a disability," I'm like, I'm not disabled to do anything. I go to
Yeah.
the gym and do all the things that
Right.
I want to do. There hasn't been anything I couldn't do.
So you don't have any limits.
No, even the doctor told me I probably couldn't drive stick shift anymore. I've been in several stick cars. I'm like, I
Man,
got it.
don't tell the doctor that.
Right. So,
But you're overcoming the odds. You're overcoming all these expectations people have on you, these limits people are putting on you. They look at you and say, "Man, I'm sorry." This and that, and they kind of feel sorry for you.
yeah,
But what do
all
you
the time.
what do you say to those kind of people?
Honestly, I'm still trying to figure that out. It's kind of it puts me in a weird position because I know they don't by any means mean it in a
Right.
disrespectful way, but sometimes I'm like, "What for?" Like it's just life continues, right?
Right.
And um, the accident definitely was a big event that I've had to overcome, but I've never seen it as like a limiting factor. Um,
You think you
so
got stronger
yeah,
and you continue to get stronger?
I think all around, physically, emotionally, and mentally. Physically, I'm not back to where I was, but we're getting back pretty quick. Um, Mentally, 100% stronger, and emotionally too. I mean, being able to hold it together, and there wasn't a lot of there was definitely like some lows, but there wasn't a lot of time that I spent like crying or like
Feeling sorry for
why
yourself.
me? Yeah, it was just, and I think it's to a certain degree like just gonna waste more time of me like recovering to
Right.
get better.
Right. So I see some athletes, they get injured and they like helping people. So you're an athlete that got injured. You're a servant. We talked about that earlier. So now I think you're going to help more people. This might be your calling. This might, and do you believe in karma?
Yeah,
Things happen for a reason.
right.
This might have happened for a reason. Somebody above us was looking down on you and said, "Hey, I want you to help thousands of people. I want you to tell your story on how you can recover from this and that." And nothing is going to limit you so much in the sense that you're going to be down and out. You could be limited for a temporary moment of time, but that little moment in time is going to catapult you up to the top where you can tell people about what's going on with you and how you can help them from recovery to their relationships that they have, broken marriages, broken whatever households. So you're resilient, my friend. You have definitely a gift that not a lot of people that look at you realize. So, what advice do you have for people who might go into be something like yourself that you're going through right now, or anything else in life, any kind of life struggles, any kind of relationship struggles? What advice do you have to them?
I think the biggest thing would be kind of touched on that already, but like keeping your mindset, um, your mental health. Uh, I think your outlook on things, the way you perceive a situation, doesn't always have to be the way you think it is. That makes sense. A lot of people like shit happens to them and they're like late to work, this or that, and they're just like the worst day ever, right? But I think you change your outlook on things. Um, know that it could always be worse, or you could always make it better. Like the accident, I was like, okay, like I could either sit and fold and like life's kind of
Curl up
ahead,
in a ball.
right? Get on like disability income and like bucket, like this is life. But I mean, there's more to it than that. So being able to stay positive,
Turning a negative into a positive.
right, and just keeping your mindset going, just move forward. There's always move forward, whether you're crawling forward or running forward. Just as long as you're moving forward and making progress, I think it could trump any other difficulties you have, whether it's like social and your marriage, friendships, your health, physical health too. I mean, that's the last thing you have, right?
Right.
If you're physical, I mean, you got your mental. So
Right. I'm a firm believer mental overcomes physical and overcomes everything else.
yeah, 100%.
You got to be a beast. You got to wake up early in the morning and you got to want it. You got to have that damn fire in your heart
Every day.
and that soul. Because if you don't have it, it fizzles out. You're going to fizzle out too. I'm a firm believer that commitment and dedication is the key. Motivation kind of goes up and down. It ebbs and flows,
Right.
right? But if you have that commitment to getting better, commitment to getting uh, on the road to recovery and kicking its ass, that commitment is gonna overcome the motivation because you can have bad days and good days. Some days you feel better than others, right? I mean,
Right. Yeah. For sure.
some days your arm hurts, some days it doesn't, and some days you say fuck it.
Right.
I don't care about this pain. I'm gonna kick the day's ass and overcome all these obstacles. So you're an inspiration, my man. You inspire me. Looking at you here, 8 months after your accident, it's a miracle, but not for you. This is just business as usual,
Yes, sir.
right? And I love that. I love that fire and passion you have. So don't let anybody limit you. This is my words of wisdom. Don't let anybody limit you. Don't tell nobody or don't let anybody tell you you can't accomplish anything. Some people might say, "Oh, you're too small, you're too short, you're too poor, you're too dumb, you're too whatever." Fuck that. Prove them wrong with actions. All right. I'm a firm believer, and I'm gonna foot stomp it, that you can overcome anything. And as long as you put your mindset right and you just make sure that you focus. Because if you're not focused, you're done.
Right. I agree.
All right. So
Yes, sir.
pleasure having you on the show today. This is a great story to tell. We can't wait to get it out so a lot of people can hear it. We're going to continue telling your story, and we look forward to having you back on the show. So later on down the road, you can say, "Hey, look at me now. I got this bandage off, and I'm bench pressing 400 pounds.
Yes, sir.
I'm deadlifting. I'm doing all this stuff. I'm running, and I'm better than ever. I'm in. This is the best I've ever felt.
Yeah.
And after all that shit that's going on with you,
100%.
all right.
Back.
So Dylan Wild, you are fucking wild, man. You are the wild man. I love it, man. So with that said, if you want to be on the show, reach out to us at socialplugmedia.net. You can reach out to us on all social media platforms. We're always looking for sponsors to partner with. We'll highlight you on our show. We'll highlight your business and beyond. I'm a firm believer in relationships. Make the world go around. Don't chase money, chase relationships. The Social Plug Podcast is out.